Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so we got the good news. LA, we got the good news. Luka Doncic signs 3 years, not 4, 3 years, 165.55 a year. Player option at the end of that third year, or the third year is a player option rather, which will allow him to position himself to get $417 million in 2028. He would be able to sign a super duper max with the Los Angeles Lakers. He would be eligible at that point to recoup money that was left on the table with the Dallas Mavericks trading him away. He didn't leave that money on the table. They snatched it from him. But this is what's going on, man. We got Luka. We don't have to worry about him being a free agent for at least another 2 years. And the third year, I think it's a decent chance if things aren't catastrophic at that point that he just opts in to that 55. I don't expect that he would sign some type of extension. He's going to want to be eligible in 2028 for that 417. So you would just see him opt in unless something goes catastrophically wrong. There would have to be a lot of things that have to go wrong, in my opinion, including like injuries leading all the way up to that point would probably be why he would. No, not even that. No, I can't see any reason why he would opt out. Nothing logical based on him being able to position himself. I think the injuries leading up to that point would mean that his value had dropped so drastically that paying him $55 million for a season would be really bad, as to which nobody would give him $417 for 5 years after that. So that's where my head went when I said the worst case scenarios, he has all types of injuries, and then at that point opts in with the expectations that he wouldn't get $417 at the next point. But I don't even then, as I say it, it's not him opting out. So I don't see him opting out, basically, is what I'm trying to say to you. There's no scenario in my head where I see him opting out. I don't think it makes any sense unless he just hates being a Laker at that point, as to which he probably still don't want that contract. So you still opt in, get that contract, and then demand out as soon as you sign it. I don't see any path to that. Just essentially where my head spinned around into a million different circles to tell you I don't see him leaving us in 2027. Not at all. So we feel great about this. I think a lot of people would have been happy if he signed a 4-year deal, but I don't think we're any less secure as it pertains to him signing on after that, because he's going to want that 417. So in my mind, all things remaining equal, I think it's safe to say that we could potentially have Luka on tap for the next 8 years. I think he signed up for 3, but he's going to want that 417, which would get, I think it's a 5-year deal if I'm not mistaken. So that's like 8 years that you can essentially say that he's planning to be here, which is amazing. We've had LeBron for 7 years, 8 years? So that would be awesome if we can just segue straight into the Luka Doncic era and have him for an extended period of time, as to which we could build around him probably more responsibly and with more money to spend, given that we have new ownership. So yeah, man, thank y'all for letting me do thinking in real time. The news just came in, and I'm trying to go all over the place, and it wasn't coming out the right way. But at the end of the day, the Los Angeles Lakers are extremely thrilled to have Luka the Don come to our organization via some type of really, really, really strange trade for which we were on the positive side of. And now we got Luka to carry us into the future, man. Carry us into the end of the 2020s, man. This is a blessing, a real blessing for us Laker fans, and of course for our organization. It's been through some seriously interesting times. Prior to LeBron arriving, we had some really tough times, and of course we went through what happened in 2020, and it's been a lot of ups and downs, and now we can see a path toward our future being bright, very bright, with this young superstar who's really not even entered his prime as of yet. At 26 years of age, we're going to get him in his best years, his prime years. And I don't know how Dallas thought that would be for their betterment, but we're happy that they did, and we're happy to have him. So that's really the word right there, man. I think some people are going to be a little concerned that there's a player option at the end of it, since we've had such frustrating times with player options on contracts as of late. But if anybody gets a player option, it's going to be a superstar. You definitely want to give them the respect that they deserve. I would not have been overly surprised to have seen a no trade clause on there either. I would not have been surprised there isn't one on there, but I would not have been surprised given what Luka went through and what type of leverage he has in this league in general. I would not have been against him wanting one. So that's the word I'll say there, but it's not there, and I think that just speaks to a certain confidence that the Lakers will not do something as stupid as to trade him, because I don't think too many teams would. He just happened to be on the one team that was willing to, but everybody else, I'm pretty damn confident, would not trade Luka to Don at all. Like, not until he gets to a point where he's completely washed up, and even then he would probably be grandfathered into whatever organization he's on. So I don't think his game is I think he's proven his game is not predicated on speed and athleticism. So even as he ages, he's still going to be better than like all humans, because at the end of the day, he doesn't have to run and jump like that to be as effective as he's been. So I'm excited about his weight loss as well. I was thinking about what changes for your roster to account for whatever his weight loss looks like on the basketball floor. Do we need to add more bulk now that he's not going to be as bulky? Do we need some help in that area? Are we going to not need help defenders to the same degree because he can help us more defensively with more speed attacks to him? Obviously, you don't know that type of stuff yet, but those are the type of things that went through my mind earlier today as I was considering his weight loss. How does that change the overall projection of what the construction of the roster should be to complement him? I don't know that it changes anything, but it is something that's a question for me. So, yeah, that's really where we're at, man. We're ushering into the Luka Doncic era. We have arrived. Like I said, this news just came in less than 6 minutes ago. I turned on the camera immediately, and I haven't listened to any commentary because of it. But I'm just relieved that we now can go forward with Luka on contract for several years. I think that's a big breath of fresh air, a huge win for our organization. I know that everybody in our organization is, we're popping bottles right now. This is like, next to winning a championship, this is probably the most important thing our franchise has done for ourselves since signing LeBron James or trading for Anthony Davis, because you just give yourself a future, and that future is so bright because of how talented this player is and because of how young he is. And so I'm still shocked that we were able to pull this off. I'm still shocked Dallas actually agreed to this. I still wonder if the NBA is behind this and not necessarily the two GMs and owners, simply because Cooper Flagg ended up a Dallas Maverick, which was strange, given they had 1% chance of winning that lottery and won it after these circumstances, and how lopsided the trade was as it pertains to the value of the players going out versus coming back toward us, Luka Doncic. So, yeah, I think that was probably put together by powers above the GMs. I really do. And I think that, this is one of the reasons why you want to be a Laker fan, because stuff like that ends up working out in your favor naturally, because at the end of the day, the Lakers are a cash cow and the number one draw in the league. And, we tend to have favor when you consider what can raise ratings, what can ultimately get people excited about the NBA. Sending people to the Lakers is definitely the top of the list. Whether opposing fans appreciate that or not, it is what it is. And, I'm happy to be a Laker fan. Always have been, regardless of the dynamic. And looks like we're going to have more championship opportunities in our future. And so that is beyond exciting. That's what we do this for. That's what we're interested in as Laker fans. That's why we're Laker fans, because we know that championships are right around the corner. So that's really what it is, man. Luka made the right choice signing with the Lakers. I love the process he's going through, trying to, like I said, change his body and reinvent his brand. This summer he's really been just going forward, trying to put himself out there a bit more, showing all of us that he's ready to be a Lakers star. and embrace that. And I think it's really good for his brand. I hope he's happy doing it, and I think he's gonna make a lot of money as well off the court because of this process. So, yeah, man, this is great for us. Great for us. There was something else I wanted to talk about in regards to the Lakers. I was thinking about the conversation surrounding LeBron James. Pictures of him at the Clippers' old facility, which I understand is now owned by his Clutch affiliates. He was stretching, and he put an old Jay-Z caption up there, essentially saying, "You're gonna miss me when I'm gone." I think LeBron James is probably having a hard time not being the number one guy on a given roster. I don't think he's ever been in a situation where he's not the most important player, period. Even in high school, he was having his games shown on ESPN. And, it's one thing to step aside and let somebody else shine. It's another thing to be pushed aside. And when you're near the end of your career and you're trying to extend your career past, what anybody else would otherwise think is possible, it can be very dejecting, I'd imagine, when the organization you're on is trying to push you out the door, even though your production hasn't necessarily waned, to fit your age. I think it's an assumption that LeBron James is going to retire. And I think to a point, LeBron James has fed into that. The age on top of that makes it so that people just say, you know what, we need to prepare for what life is outside of LeBron James. And to a point, it looks as if we're pushing him out the door in that process, which is, I think, natural when you're trying to bring in another superstar. It's been said that Luka recently, on the record, said that he doesn't want LeBron James to leave the Lakers. He wants LeBron to retire a Laker. And I think that's really good. That's good for chemistry. I think it's good for the Lakers. It doesn't put any pressure on them to move on from LeBron if they're not able to, or if it's not the right thing for the Lakers. And LeBron's, as I said, his production hasn't waned. So you're talking about a player who can really still turn in top 10 production on the basketball floor. So for me, I was of the mindset that moving on from LeBron was probably the move for the Lakers prior to the Luka trade, just because of how our assets were set up and how I felt that we had very little we could afford to let walk or retire. I think now we're in a much different space. We got Luka on tab, under contract. We got some young guys that we've brought in. Our timeline looks good. Free agency looks good. It's not as pressing. We've moved on from Anthony Davis, turned him into more lucrative assets. So our future is set. We're not pressed to try to find something for LeBron James. And I don't think LeBron James' value on the market is as favorable as maybe as it once was. So when you consider trying to move him, you're not going to get a haul for him the way that you expect to, in theory. So I don't think it's as pressing to move on from LeBron or to force him out of here or whatever. But I think there's, it's been a lot of commentary surrounding the picture that I described and how people are kind of frustrated because it has a Clipper logo behind him. And I think all of that's very deliberate. This is on brand for LeBron in the offseason and when he's unhappy to sub people and do cryptic tweets and stuff like that. And I do think that this is a very tough transition for LeBron to watch the Lakers move on from him and to do so willingly. It's probably difficult on multiple fronts. And so I don't doubt that he probably wouldn't mind staying in Los Angeles. And since the Lakers are not the only team in Los Angeles, I don't think that's an overly empty threat that he would go to the Clippers. I don't think the Clippers would be his first choice, but I also don't think he wants to leave Los Angeles to continue playing ball. What I don't think is that the Clippers are going to move things around to create space for him on their cap. I don't think the Lakers would be willing to acquire Kawhi Leonard or James Harden in his stead. That doesn't make any sense for us. There are more than one way to skin a cat, but if he wants to get to the Clippers, he got to get through multiple hurdles to get there, and then he's going to have to understand that he's going to have a lot of vitriol pointed at him, probably unnecessary vitriol pointed at him, in the same city he's played for the last 8 years. There's certain places you don't go when you've been playing for the Lakers. One of them is the Clippers, the other one's the Celtics. So I don't think he would ever sign with the Celtics. But I think he would love to stay home in Los Angeles. So I'm just saying I don't think LeBron is I wouldn't say he's immune to hate, but he's been dealing with so much of it for so long. I don't think that he's probably prioritized not being hated, but I do think there's a part of him, having played in Los Angeles for 8 years, that would not be pleased with the energy that he receives from Los Angeles if he signed with the Clippers. I don't think he would be pleased with that. He already appears to be unhappy with how little appreciation he's been shown. It seems. I think he would get even less appreciation if he signed with the Clippers. I think it would compound worse. But at the end of the day, he's won an NBA championship with us. He has a right to go wherever he wants. When he becomes a free agent, he's earned the right to be able to choose where he wants to play. And unfortunately, it looks like the one place that he probably wants to play is choosing away from him. And I think that's unfortunate when you're talking about this being one of the greatest players we've ever seen. You want to see him get grandfathered into whatever team he wants to be a part of. But you also understand that you have to consider the future of the team as well. And not every team is willing to gut themselves, to see a superstar retire in a uniform. And that's essentially what we were risking as we looked at our situation. So that's really what it comes down to. In a perfect world, you're able to just retire and ride off into the sunset. The reality is the Lakers have to try to keep winning after that happens. And if you retire, they don't recoup anything for your retirement. It's like letting you walk, as I already mentioned. So, that's a tough thing in 2025 when you consider the collective bargaining agreement, how difficult it is to build teams in this league, how many teams we've seen make that mistake in history. We talk about the Chicago Bulls going through that process. You talk about our Lakers with Kobe Bryant and how we struggled after Kobe retired, and it's just not something that I think teams really are looking forward to doing unless they have a plethora of assets to compound the loss, for which we don't have. So, it's tough. I don't expect LeBron to have an easy go at not being the focal point of the Lakers or watching the Lakers do what they need to do to secure their future. And I think this is just what it looks like. You know what I mean? This is what it looks like when you have to deal with that. So that's what it is in my mind. I don't think LeBron is going to request a trade. I certainly don't expect he will request a trade to the Clippers. I think he will play out his season, see how it goes, and then make a decision on his career as a free agent. That's what I expect to happen. At the end of this season, when it completely plays out, hopefully we hoist a trophy at the end of the year, although I don't think people think we're the favorites. Perfect world for us. That's what it is. We win the championship, and then he makes a decision if he wants to play with the Lakers another season, as to which I think the Lakers would offer him a contract, probably a 1-year or 2-year deal, or go somewhere else. And or retire. He have his options. That's what I think is probably going to be the play. And there's no way of knowing how that goes. There's a million different paths to what would lead to his decision. So I told you guys on a different video, not relating to the Lakers, that I had a dream about 4 or 5 nights ago where LeBron James essentially told me he is leaving the Lakers for whatever that's worth. But I don't know if people put too much stock in my dreams, but it is what it is. I did have that dream happen. And, like I said, I'm at peace. I'm always thinking about the future. I've been a Laker fan since I was 9 years old, and I'm going to be 41 this month. So I've seen guys come and go many times over. Superstars play their entire careers. We've been through it all here. And at this point, I'm at peace. I think LeBron has had a fantastic run with the Lakers. I'm happy with him here. I think we're a better team with him on the squad no matter what the scenario. And I think we rely upon him a bit more than I think we pay attention to. I think a lot of us are taking him for granted on the basketball court. Some of the things, tangibles that he brings to the game, some of the, the things that ultimately you are not going to be able to make up for when he leaves. And so I would caution Laker fans to be so excited about moving on from LeBron James, buying into the propaganda of hate that has been pointed at his brand for 21, 22 years. Having you thinking that you're a better basketball team without him is foolish. It's absolutely foolish. And so, and I don't think it's going to be as easy to usher in someone like, say, Giannis or, um, Jokic, like we think. I would hope that we would be lucky enough to have that type of thing happen, but the likelihood is that you don't get one of those two guys. So you gotta be very careful not to kick a guy who's a top 10 guy out, thinking that you're just going to usher in the next superstar. That may not happen. It may not happen at all. And if it doesn't happen, you may end up losing Luka 3 years. He may go somewhere. So you just gotta be careful not to count your eggs before they hatch. Chickens before they hatch, rather. And I think that that's really what it comes down to. I would like to see LeBron James have a good season and choose to stay and re-sign with the Lakers and then have a farewell tour after that. That's what I would like to see, to be honest. At this point, I've made peace with the fact that we're not going to recoup anything for him, that we're not going to trade him away. If we were going to do that, we'd have done it already. And so at this point, I'd rather not see him in a different uniform, just for, craps and giggles, so to speak. That doesn't necessarily make me happy as a Laker fan, because I think our team is going to be worse for it. If I'm being completely honest with you, I just think we're going to suck. Or not suck, but we're going to be leaning on Luka just to drag us wherever we can go and probably be at best a 5 seed without LeBron James, depending on what type of pieces we can recoup, or rather sign in free agency, for which I think they're going to make a hard push. But I think Jokic is probably going to take his 417, you know what I mean, in Denver. I would love to see Jokic sign with us, but I think he's going to take that grandfather deal. I think he's going to, when you really consider what Jokic's career is about, he's already won in Denver. He's not particularly unhappy there. They're getting better in terms of the decisions that they're making and stuff like that. So it's like a couple years from now or whatever, whenever it's time for him to sign a $400 million deal, do I really see him leaving on that table to come to the Lakers? I honestly don't think he's going to do that. I don't think he's going to do that. Giannis, totally different story, but Giannis is getting older. He's had injury issues. I'm not as excited about Giannis going forward as 90% of the league is. I would bring him in, but I would have tempered expectations to say that he's going to start reaching father time himself. Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. I just don't know that bringing in the superstar is as realistic or is going to happen, like I think a lot of Laker fans probably expecting. Oh, we're just going to get Jokic and Giannis. Could you get those guys? Yeah, you got a chance. But I don't think you're the only player in town. And I do think that at the end of the day, them dudes, they got a chance to make ridiculous money in the next contract because they've never been traded from their teams. So, and with the Bucks making all these different moves to try to get Giannis in there, I just think he's going to stay. He's already won a championship, so we don't have to chase one. I think he's probably going to stay in Milwaukee, even though it's against his best interest in winning. He can make the most money in Milwaukee going forward at the end of the day. He's always been there. He's already delivered. He probably just wants to be grandfathered into that franchise. They're not going anywhere, but I don't think he is either, to be honest with you. So that's what I think of that. I just don't. I've come to the belief that Giannis is probably not going to leave the Bucks. So that's really what I'm thinking, man. We'll see what happens. A lot can change between now and whenever, however these times go. But you got Luka. That's the most important thing for the Los Angeles Lakers. You got Luka. He signed on for several years. We got a chance to build something around him more responsibly than we were able to with LeBron and AD. And I think we're going to be very successful. I really do. I'd be very surprised if the Lakers don't find a way to win a championship in Luka's tenure. Very surprised. And so that's really where we're at, man. Good luck to everybody on the squad. Congratulations to the Lakers, Laker fans, and Luka the Don. Generational wealth is nothing to poo-poo. You know, he deserves more. He'll get more. And we're excited about him being a Laker going forward. BDL 44. Thank y'all for watching.